things, but they make a fabulous poultice if you have broken skin or just to heal it. And it also, you can use it on a chronic infection also. So if you have chronic staph, you can use plantain on there. Yeah, lots of other things. It helps move bile in the liver. It's the seeds are used for bladder infections.
So you can make tea out of the leaves?
You can make tea out of it. Some people eat it, but it's pretty tough, fibery. But it makes a great poultice for bee stings, things like that.
Do you have to eat the seeds cooked or raw, or does it matter?
For a bladder infection?
Yeah.
They're cooked. I've only used them cooked. And psyllium is from Plantago psyllium, which is a relative of this plant. It's used for a bulk for the colon.
Oh, well, please say again.
Psyllium is another Plantago. It's a different species.
Now, for the bladder infection, did you say if you take the seeds just...
As tea. As tea.
And you boil them or just tea?
Boil them. You want to boil them. And you can use any part of the plant for bladder infections, but the Chinese specifically use the seeds. They're called chichanza.
They have tiny, the seeds, aren't they?
Oh,
like
very
grass
tiny.
seeds, yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly.
We see outside if there is any.
There should be some out here. Is there plantain here?
Yeah, I picked some out.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah.
But it's the major, not the lanceolata.
Recently. Another really good plant topically for broken skin is any hibiscus flower. You can use the red hibiscus, the yellow hibiscus. You can use the howl plant, the yellow one with the black center. Any hibiscus. My Hawaiian teachers liked the red ones, and they would take the buds. They were kind of closed. They would mash those up and put it under a Band-Aid. Or now this also you can use on a chronic infection too. So you can use it on chronic staph. If you have a boil coming up, you can use either one of these on a boil. Like if a boil is starting to erupt, you get like a big pimple and it's hot and maybe filled with pus. You don't want to use banana sap or guava because you want it to erupt. So you would use something more moistening like the Plantago or the hibiscus. The Plantago, I forgot to mention, is called plantain or laukahi. So the hibiscus flower, if you rub them, they're very slippery, and you can use them any part of the flower. But as I say, my Hawaiian teachers use the buds topically for boils and stuff. And finally, I'm just going to find some. I'm sure she'll bring it in. It's very slimy, and you can put it on a braided skin. It'll help seal it, disinfect it. It's also used for scratches in the eyes. It's a very important herb for the eyes. If you have, snap off a bit of that stem and squeeze out the sap. So snap off some of the stem and squeeze it. You'll see this sticky sap come out of there.
So if it seals, you might not want to use it on chronic infection.
No, you can. This one's okay. This is not super strong. It'll help, but it won't. The Chinese call it locking the robber in the house. This one won't lock the robber in the house. I don't know if you can see that. See it's like a...
If you work your finger up from...
Yeah, you'll feel it if you pass that around. It's very slippery.
Do you use just the sap, or do you just crush it up so the sap is in with the...
Well, if you're using it for a poultice, you'll just mash it up and put it with the other plants. And you can mix these. Any of these three you can mix together. If you're using it for your eye, you squeeze the sap. What I'll do is I'll squeeze the sap. I'll show you. I'll squeeze I'll snap it off. I'll squeeze the sap like this. See, it gets kind of a head of sap there. And I'll take it and I'll put it on my eyelid. On my lower eyelid. Don't poke yourself in the eye. And it coats the eye. So if you get a scratch, or you can also use it to get sand out of the eye. If you get a little piece of sand or something, you can have a friend take it and the sand will stick to that end. I've used it for chemical splashes. I've used it for Scratch cornea, I'm using it for paint and paint thinner in my eye. Works really well. Very soothing.
That's for coughs too, yeah.
It's for coughs and also internally for coughs and bladder infections.
Oh, you can take it into
Internally, mash it up and make it into a tea. It's also used for high fevers. But we're talking first aid here, so this is also a plant that's really, really safe to use. I don't use it so much to move the blood or for, or as an anti-rheumatic, but it's a pretty good antibacterial.
Would it be good for blisters since it's so moist?
Maybe, yeah, it's certainly good for helping things erupt, boils and stuff. So. All right, any questions? Yes?
About aloe or aloe.
Aloe is certainly great for this. Yeah, even radiation burns from cancer therapy, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, this was infected, I put some aloe on his bone.
Yeah, yeah.